this is Judy from River City Sewing again in Brisbane, and guess what? We now have our PFAFF creative icons installed. Isn't it amazing? Isn't she beautiful? We want to go through today just a little bit of an overview of the machine, why it's so amazing and what it means for sewers going forward for the future. Now, we've been pretty excited about this model coming out. We've been talking about it for months and wanting to make sure that you all knew about some of the features and functions of it. So now we've got our hands on a machine, we can go through and show you what it means, and hopefully you'll love it as much as we do here. The PFAFF Creative Icon is the top of the line sewing and embroidery machine from PFAFF. Now what that means is any innovation that PFAFF have ever made is on this machine. As a top of the line machine, it has every available function and feature. Now some of you may have owned PFAFFs in the past and loved them. Well, I think you're really going to love this particular model. Now for the beginner sewer or the sewing enthusiast, as I call you all, this machine has everything that you could ever imagine. Now for someone who is new to sewing but really want to get themselves set up with a great machine that they'll have for years and years and years, then I would definitely make sure that you consider this model, and it's for a few reasons. Not only the best in class options, like there's lots of different features that they are the best in class, which means they're the best in the world, but also for the help that this machine can give you when you're doing regular sewing. Okay, so the first thing you might notice about the machine is that we have got an amazing lighting system here. Wow, it's pretty amazing. I'm just going to try and check my white balance here so that you can see exactly. There is absolutely light coming from all areas around for your sewing. Now you can just imagine that how much more light you're going to have when you're sewing. Now this LED light can be dimmed if you need to, but it will go into like an eco style mode when you haven't used it for a while. But hey, this is amazing, especially for those people who have difficulty with darker fabrics, or like me, need a little bit of extra help seeing things like threading their needles and things like that. But there's a new feature we're going to talk about also. The amazing thing about this is we've got 12.2 inches from needle to the tower. So we've got lots of room here to do our projects in. But the main feature is that they've increased the height to 5.51 inches, which, you know, that's a lot of space for your quilts to be put up in, your projects to be put up in. But more importantly, this is where the area where this is increased in height. It's now gone to 3 inches. So that allows us to get our hands in right here, which is great. Previously we've always sometimes had, well I have because I've got big hands, but trying to get into this area to change things, change needles, change feet. Now we've got a great sewing height here. Also the view coming down, if you sit quite high when you're sitting at your machine, you may have been feeling like you needed to slouch slightly when you were looking for any of the functions here on the needle area. Well, now you don't, because you've got a beautiful angled back, the machine's been angled back here so that you get a clear view of the needle area. That alone for me is an amazing feature. If you like to sit high at your machine, you're no longer having to compromise because you can see your needle area, and I think that's really great. The other feature we've got is that IDT has been improved, and now because we have extra height here, the IDT has been improved and elongated, and I'll give you a bit of a closer look at that a little bit later. The other thing you'll notice here is that these buttons are all recessed and they're a soft touch. So when you touch them, they're just a soft touch. So you can't knock them or just by moving your hands over them engage that particular function, which is nice, which leaves this whole front of the machine area beautifully simple. which is great. Now, there is a nice new area here. When we open up, as you can see, it's quite a long and open area. One of the great features I've seen is that the handle goes along the entire length of the machine so that you get great balance when you pick it up. And this little purpley colour gripper here is one of those grippers that it's like a non-slip rubberized strip. So when you're picking a machine up, you're not going to, well, it'll help you not to slip. That's nice. We have the same thing on the side, which I'm going to show you a little bit later. So when we're looking at the machine itself, beautifully long, the embroidery unit, you can sew with it on. You can take this off, and we have a accessory tray that goes into there, and I'll get into that in a little minute. Sorry. Okay, now what I've done is I've just adjusted a little bit so that you can see the screen a little bit better without too much reflection. And what we're going to go through now is just go through the basics of the screen and what all the icons mean. And look how lovely and clear it is. This is really a nice feature from PFAFF, that they've made our screens very clean and less cluttered. So from this main screen, or your home screen, is what happens when you turn it on. We have 4 options on the screen: start sewing, start embroidering, load from My Sew Net, and open Help Center. Now, My Sew Net, those of you who are not quite sure what that is, it is a cloud-based storage system for you. But My Sew Net allows you to save items to a cloud. Now, if you have Premier Plus or Premier Plus Ultra or Premier Plus 2, which has just come out, they give you an ability to save to a cloud account called My Sew Net. What the good part is that you can sign in on your machine, because it's now Wi-Fi capable, so that you can sign in on a Wi-Fi network at your home and then take those designs that you might have stored and bring them straight to your machine. So no USB, no hassles with USBs or anything like that anymore. It's up here in the cloud for you. So we'll go into that again a little bit later. But the one major thing that's happened with this PFAFF has been the Help Center. And as you can see, it's a little bit different. I'm going to come back to that in a sec, because I want to show you the rest of the things that are on this front. Now, these elements change here on the tablet, but these ones don't down here on the bottom. We have Home, which is your most important. If you get lost or you're not quite sure and you want to come back to the main screen, we touch Home. This is our Save button. It's got a little heart, so we're going to save it, and we can save it either to whatever we're working on, either to the machine, My Sew Net, or a USB stick. Okay, so we can save from anywhere. The other one is the toggle between sewing and embroidery. So this is like your start new. So if we touch that, if I had a sewing project there, I could automatically go into there. If I had an embroidery project on that I was working on, I could touch there and it would take me to embroidery edit. If I just wanted to start new, either sewing or embroidery, I would touch one of those. So we can toggle between projects that we're using, or basically start from scratch. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go home. So I'm going to press this one and it brings me back to here. This is great if you get lost. So the other feature I'd like to show you is the Help Center, because I think this is a great feature for any sewer. Now, you might have been sewing for years and years and years, but this is a new machine. So this basically is going to give you as much help as you need with the machine. Now, as you can see, when I open the Help Center, we've got a user guide, which is like your manual. It's on board, so you don't have to go shuffling around trying to find it. You've also got a getting started, techniques and tutorials, and what we all need is a stabilizer guide for when we're doing our different projects. Now, the other little symbols here are help. This gives us our Wi-Fi signal, strength, and my sonnet. So we're not connected over here at the moment, so that's why they are white. But what I wanted to show you first, we'll start at the top and we'll go to the user guide. So it gives you an idea of how this works. And look how big that is. We can all see how lovely that is. So we can use the built-in user guide either finding a topic, you can go from A to Z, or by table of contents. And these two symbols represent these two symbols here. So if I wanted to find something in alphabetical order, say it was changing my bobbin case, I would go A to Z, B for bobbin, and I go down through the list and I find my bobbin case, and then it would show me, I'll just touch that again, that gets rid of the menu, and you can see this is pretty cool because it comes up and shows you all of the things you need to know. Once you're done, you can press getting user guide again, and that would shrink that menu. Then the next, I'll leave that one for you to have an explore with, but anything you're looking for, the user guide is here on board. Getting started is awesome. And I say that because when you have a new machine, sometimes you might come and have your lessons, but there's just the simplest thing that you forget. Well, have a look what we've got here. Basically, we've got all different little videos and information about doing the basic things. So for example, because we've got a new needle threader, which is awesome because it's all automatic, we've got new videos on how to, and new instructions of how to thread the needle. Now the other nice thing is this looks really small, but we've got a little tab here on the side that's a little triangle with dots on it. It allows me, once I touch it and it goes green, I can pull that right down, which is really cool. So each instruction, at the moment it says threading the upper thread, it's going to teach us how. Then it's going to, we've got this little video symbol here to play. So why don't we just play that and we're going to show you what it does. So as you can see, it's showing you step by step what you need to do. So that's step number 1. Okay, we've got that. Then we can go down, read our section, go to step number 2. What you can do, if you want to see it play all at once, you touch this little button here and press play, and it will do the rest of the video for you. So you can stop where you need to stop, and then you can press play again. So as you can see from the video, the threading path is a little bit different, so it's great to have this video here just to remind us of how it is. So when we get to the end, it's basically showing us what we need to do. And then we go into the needle. So then that's it, it's done. Then all we need to do then is to close, and then we're looking at the automatic needle threader. Now this is a great feature for those of you had noticed. We've got a new automatic needle threader. It's pretty cool. So I'm just going to stop for a second and I'm going to get some thread and we can do this together. So as you can see, this little area here is quite big. So now we've got the beautiful styling on top. But as we're going through and doing our needle threading, you can see some of the real cool features of the machine. It has, I'm just going to move the camera up slightly, a telescopic thread guide here. Just pop that back down, make sure I don't lose the camera. So telescopic thread guide, and it has little flip up or flip down spool holders, which is really cool. So what we're going to do, there is a spool cap that sits under here to hold your threads. It's a nice big one, about this big, and it's a platform for your threads to sit on. So what we're going to do is we're going to thread this as per we saw in the video. Nice and easy. and we're going to go to the needle. So now all we need to do, and we're going to show the video, is it tells us we have to go through under this little area, through this little mouth here, and cut off. And that makes it just the right length for what it needs to do. Then the beauty is we've got fully automatic, so we're going to touch this button here. I'm just going to come in a little bit closer again. So if we're ready, so we're going to show you how to do this. So this is our needle threading button. So we're going to try and touch it so that you can see. So we've got our thread ready. How cool is that? So now that needle is threaded, and it's just the right amount of thread in there, so that if you were doing things like embroidery especially, that's enough thread that will be finished off nicely at the back of your work. Isn't that great? So that's the new needle threader, which is pretty nice. But the good thing about this is that you have the onboard help.